Masechta Bava basra, Daf Tzadikei Yomid Aleph, is starting from 4 lines from the top. Tashma. We learned yesterday that Benagay is somebody who buys chitin. So it's expected to have up to a kav of afrudius, of dirt, of pselis. But if it's more, and Rav Huna said if he comes to sift and to see, because he felt there was more, so then he doesn't get, even though normally the kain is meichel on the reva kav, on a quarter of a kav, but here, if it was more, and the kain is going to sift it, so then he has to be reimbursed even on the part that he would normally be machel for, even for the quarter of the kav. Sagt die Gemara, Tashma, come in here, I'll bring a raya to Rav Huna's hayra, to Rav Huna's psak, that he gets reimbursed not only for above the kav, above the quarter of a kav, but also for the quarter of the kav itself. So the Braisa speaks about hayna, somebody who cheated in a sale. So the din of hayna is pachas mishtus, less than a shtus, nikna hamekach. The sale is done, and the koina is meichel, even though he was charged a little bit over, but at least it was less than a shtus. Yois shtus, batal hamekach. If it was more than a shtus, then the wholesale is batal. Shtus, if it was exactly a sixth over, kana, the deal is a deal, but umazir oina. All he has to return the whole money, even though if it was less than oina, the buyer would have been meichel if it was a drop less than a sixth, drop less than a sixth. But if it's a sixth, then he could demand to be reimbursed for the whole sixth. Even, and we don't say he just pays back until it becomes less than a sixth. According to Rav Huna, if it's shtus lehada, let him just return a drop of the money at pachs mishtus till it becomes less than a shtus. Where less than a shtus, normally a buyer is meichel. Shmami no is a raya from here, like Rav Huna. Kol heichad the bayla haduri. Every place where a person is mechuyev ready to pay back some of it, because he had charged he's to charge a shtus at a sixth more than the sale, he's already mechuyev to pay back. So then kula mahada, he has to pay back not just the little bit to bring it down to less than a sixth, but he has to pay back the whole thing. So is a raya to Rav Huna when he sold him the chitim. So up to Reba Kav, the kaina, the buyer is meichel. But if he gave him more dirt, more pselis, more than a kav, so then he could demand to be reimbursed for the whole kav as well, even for the part that he would normally be machel. He would be forgiven. In fact, we then compare and being a raya to Rav Huna in this case. Over there by the sale, he told him, I want to get exactly what's worth for my money. Money for money, dollar for dollar, cent for cent. He says, but a drop less than a shtus, it's not recognizable to him that he's being cheated. To him it looks like he's being sold for the full value. And therefore a person is going to be meichel if it's less than a sixth above the price. But shtus is already, if it's a sixth, it's recognizable. And on that, a person does not forgive, and therefore he could demand. I asked for penny, dollar for dollar. Yes, a mishtus, but if more than a shtus, if it's more than six, mekach tois, hu ubatla mekach. If it's more than a shtus, it's going to be completely, the whole sale is out. It's not a sale. But you saw in the case of a shtus, Rav Huna over there we paskin that he has to pay him back. He has to reimburse him, not just till it becomes less than a shtus, but the whole shtus. Why? Because there he demanded that I want to get for every penny for penny what I'm paying for. I want to get in material in the scheda that I'm buying for. But when it comes to buying chitim is normally comes with pselis. He knows he's not getting dollar for dollar in chitim. He knows he's getting some pselis. So therefore, sometimes there could be in the pselis a little bit more. So therefore, up to the amount of a kav, a reba kav will be machol, and if it was a little bit more, so he'll pay it down a little bit. And maybe that's what this Bryce would have. It would be a right Rav Huna. Says and you wouldn't be reimbursed for the whole kav. It's different than the previous case. Toshma, coming, the mother says, I'll bring you a raya to Rav Huna that once he's overcharged or cheated more, then he gets reimbursed even on the part that he's normally forgiven for. So somebody who accepts the job from his friend to plant trees, the Baal Hasad is makabla of buriyas. He accepts that 10 of the plantings will be no good, won't give off payers. For every 100 ilanes, he knows that 10 will be barren, won't be good. But if it's more than 10 trees that are not going to be good, then we demand that he has to do all those 10 trees over again also. Even though normally 10 out of 100, the kohen normally accepts, but since here was 11, he doesn't accept it. And he has to plant not just one to bring it back to 10. No, he has to plant back all the other 10 trees as well. So here you see that once it goes above the ratio, 10 to 100, so he's being cheated. He has 11th barren tree. So then the wholesale is, then he can demand to be reimbursed, that he should plant over all the 10 plus this 11th tree over again. So it's just like Rav Huna says, that when he sells chitim, and if there's more than a riba kav, then he not only does he have to reimburse above the kav, above the quarter of a kav, but he has to reimburse him for the whole kav. So you have no raya from here. Rav Yeshua said it's different by the trees. Kol yasmekan, any soda that has more than a shear of barren trees, 10 barren trees, it's as if he's planting a new field, because a field with 11 trees, that's a big shatach, and it's like he's coming to tell him to come plant another field. It's like a separate field, and he did nothing. It's all barren. But by the paydas where there's pseilas, it's acceptable that there's always pseilas, and sometimes even more pseilas, even more earth than a reiv of akav. So that's why, if it's more earth, maybe we would tell him just bring it down to the reiv of akav, but up to reiv akav he was machol, because there's no independent chshivas here. If it's a drop more than a kav, versus by the ilonis there is an independent chshivas. It's considered as a soda on its own. It's like a dava nifid la'atzmayas. There's something that's separated for itself. Versus by the peiris with the pseilis, it doesn't fall into a geda of a separate category. So we don't in the Mishnah, and if he sold a sell of wine, so the kohen accepts upon himself 10 of them will be vinegar, or will have starting to be vinegar. In fact, how is the case talking about it? If the words that he told him, I'm selling you a martev, a seller of wine, without any specifications, stam, that's how he said he's selling him kasha, then that's not the case of Al Mishnah. We'll see from the Braisa. If he added the word this seller of wine I'm selling to you, kasha, we'll see. It also doesn't fit with Al Mishnah that says 10 out of 100 he's machol. And if you're going to say matav zeh, if he said matav zeh without saying the word yayin, kasha is also kasha, because it doesn't fit with Al Mishnah. Where do we see that? The Tanya that we learned in the Braisa. If he said Mata Shal Yayin and he didn't use the word Zeh, he has to give him all good wine. There's no percentage that the kohen has to accept that is no good. If he said Mata Zeh Shal Yayin, he says this seller of wine I'm selling to you, then he's allowed to sell him even wine, the same wine that like it's sold in the store. And the ways it's sold in the store is the wine that starts becoming vinegar. And if he said just matav zeh without saying yayin, even if it's all mamish vinegar, the yayin turned into vinegar, the halacha is the sales are sale. So we don't see from any of these three cases that there's 10 that are about to turn chaymetz is part of the sale. 10 out of 100. Because if he said Matav Yayin Stam, the halacha is it has to be all good wine. If he added the word Matav Yayin Zeh, Matav zeh shal yayin. He added the word zeh. So then the halacha is that he could sell all the wine like in a store. It's not vinegar yet, but it's starting. It's about to get there, and that he's allowed to sell him all that kind of. At least it's still wine, but it didn't turn into vinegar. And if he said it matav zeh ani meichalach without saying yayin, he could sell him all vinegar. So none of them followed our mission that says 10 out of 100. The kleina is going to be meichel, and if you want to lay down matav shal yayin stam. Really, he said the mativ of wine stam without specifying zeh, without saying zeh. So we said it has to be all good wine. So he says no, you have to learn you have to be guided in the ratio of the brayso that yain shekula yafa, but you have to add but he does accept, the kind does accept 10 that are about to become chaymis vinegar out of 100. In fact, by stum he doesn't say zeh matav shayayin. Does is the lekech mechuyuv to be makabel 10 that are about to become vinegar? Vaha Tani Rabbi had learned one who sells a barrel of wine to his friend, he has to give him wine that's all good. So when you're dealing with one barrel, and this one barrel is obviously going to be used right away. So usually those that are being used right away is a wine that's about to turn into vinegar, and nevertheless we said no, it has to be quality wine. How much more so when he's buying a load of wine, 100 barrels of wine? Obviously he wants it for a long time to be able to have time to sell it or drink it in the future. So in such a case, for sure, it has to be quality wine. So if you want a shiny chavis is different. The kulachat chameru, it's only one barrel. When he's buying one barrel, he wants a quality barrel. And here he retracts from what he said, that when you say one barrel, it has to be quality for sure if it's 100 barrels. It's not true. One barrel, I'll tell you, he's buying one barrel, that's all there is. He wants a good bottle of wine, a good barrel of wine. But by kama chavius, when you're dealing with many barrels, then it makes sense that 10 out of it he's accepting that it will turn chaymisdik. That's about to turn chaymisdik. So the Gemara has to study from another brayse. But Tani Rav Tzvi learned in brayse from he was from the base medrash of Rabbi Yishai. He says if the Meichel said Matav shal yayin ani meichalach. He says, Stam, Matav Shayayin, I'm selling you without saying the word Zeh. Basically, Yayin Shekli Yafa. Here it says, Befedish, he has to give him wine that's all only good. And we said, no, he accepts, when he says Stam, he accepts automatically 10 out of 100 that will turn, that's about to turn vinegar. Matav Zeh Shayayin, if he said specifically Zeh, Ani Mechalach, Basically, Yayin Shekli Yafa, he has to give him all good wine. Only when he says zeh, when he specified zeh, so then we say 10 out of the 100. He accepted that 10 barrels will, which is on its way to turning into vinegar. So, which is the opposite of what we said before. We just said before, even by matav stam, matav shal yain, without saying zeh, he accepts 10 barrels which are about to turn vinegar. And here we're saying only if he said matav zeh by Rav Tzvi. And he says this is the martiv that our Mishnah learns by Matsha Yayin. That we said in the Mishnah that 10 of them the Kohen is accepting is talking about where he said the word Zeh versus versus what we said before is talking about by Stam. So because of this kasha, so the Gemara retracts and answers the Mishnah according to the second brayse. Elamas nisin nami de. Rather, our Mishnah is also talking about where he said the word zeh. Matav zeh shal yain ani meichalach. And because he added the word zeh, the Lekeach is accepting 10 barrels that are about to turn vinegar. But we still have two brayses that contradict each other. One brayse says only by matav stam he's accepting 10 out of 100, and by the second brayse it says matav zeh. Kasha zeh. He says the Hayra of this Baraisa by Matav Zeh that contradicts the first Baraisa that says that the Meicha could give to Lekech all of them. If he used the word Zeh, in the first Baraisa we said, if he says Mata Zeh, he can give them all the barrels that are about to turn vinegar, versus Navila Baraisa Shal Zvid. But the Baraisa Rav Zvid, if he said Zeh, he only accepts up to 10 barrels that are about to turn into vinegar, and the rest has to be good wine. So you have a steer of from the Braisa, the previous Braisa, when it said Zeh, he could give them all the barrels should be about to turn into vinegar, versus the Braisa that Abzid brought down that no, only up to 10 barrels out of 100 the Kaina is accepting. Says you want to lay kasha, that's not a kasha. It's not a stira. The Braisa of Abzid, why he said he's accepting only 10, the Amalei Lamikva, because he said, I'm using this wine for a tafshil. And somebody who buys wine for a tafshil, he needs wine that can last a long time. Not wine that's about to turn chaymitzdik. So that's where we said it's up to 10 barrels that he accepts out of 100 that's turning chaymitzdik. But the first price that says that he could sell all of them chaymitzdik, he didn't say I need it for cooking, that it should last, and it has to be quality wine that can last for a long time. The Avzid is talking about Damalei Lamikva. The Avzid is talking about where he said Mata Shayayin Lamikva Befeish. He said it's for cooking, and that's why you need most of the wine, 90% of the wine to be good, and 10 you'll say that the kind is accepting. And the Baraisa, and the first Baraisa, he didn't say he wants it for cooking. That's why you can give him all the wine that's about to turn chaymitzdik. Zog the Gemara is masking to the outcome of the halacha from this answer. Hilkoch, therefore mata shal yayin. The same thing will be if he said stam mata shal yayin v'amalei lemikva. He didn't say zeh. He said mata. I'm selling you a mata shal yayin, but he said it's for cooking. Nice yayin shekulu yafa. He has to give him all good wine. Mata zeh shal yayin if he specified zeh v'amalei lemikva, and he said it's for cooking. Nice yayin shekulu yafa. But now, since he used the word zeh in this, he's mekabel alav eser kaisus lemeya. So he's already accepting that 10 out of the 100 could be turning vinegar, because he added the word zeh. But he also used lemikva, so you have both sides. You have lemikva, has to be quality wine, so most of it has to be quality wine. But since he said zeh, so he's accepting that part of it, the eser of the barrel, 10 of the barrels should be turning into vinegar. But lo yamal lemikva. If he didn't say to him it's for cooking, for a tafshil, he can give him, if he said matav zeh, and he didn't say lemikva, so then he can give him all the wine, all of it, 100% of the wine that's about to turn vinegar. In the base medrash, they asked the shaila, if the meicha said to lekech, matav shal yayin, I'm selling you, v'lo yamalei lemikva. And he didn't say it's for tafshil. What's going to be the din? Does the kohen have to accept 10 barrels out of 100 that will be turning into vinegar or not? Because here you have two studded. If he says mata shal yayin, so mata shal yayin normally has to be all good, 100% good wine. That's a mila. I'm sorry, mata shal yayin. I'm sorry. If he says mata shal yayin, which is officially Matav Yayin, so you're not clear what he means. But then he said Lemikva. Before we were talking about, he said Matav Zeh. So there was a chsanan in saying the word Zeh. By saying Zeh, he's showing he's accepting some of it, like it is now, that's going to be turning into vinegar. But he said lemikva, so 90% has to be, there's a mile because he said lemikva. But what's if he didn't use the word zeh? The chesaron of zeh is that he wants the wine like it's sold in the store now, which a lot of the wines are sold for, most of the wines are sold for about to turn into vinegar. But here he didn't use the word zeh. He said mat shayayin. Do we say, since he didn't say lemikva, so therefore he's accepting 10 out of 100 barrels which are about to turn vinegar? Or do we say, listen, he said mat shayayin, he didn't say the word zeh, he doesn't have to say lemikva, and automatically all of it has to be good. Says you want to plead your butt. Is a machlekes havacha v'ravina. Chad one says makabel. He's makabel 10 barrels out of 100 that are about to turn vinegar. Chad amar lei makabel, and one of them said that he's not makabel. Zog Yimon Amanda makabel, the one that says he automatically is makabel 10 barrels that are about to turn vinegar. Doig mit Rav Zvid. He learns it out from Rav Zvid. The Ketani that we learned, he says a seller of wine, I'm selling you nicely. He has to give him all good wine. We established that it's talking about that he said befedish that he wants it for cooking. So this is Rav Zvid. He's the man that says he's makabel because he was medaik from Rav Zvid that the Mishnah was saying Mata Shayayin Ani Moichalach. Over there, we established that it's talking about dafke if he said lemikva. Time of lemikva. The whole reason why he gets all yayin yafa, yayin shekulu yafa, because he said lemikva. But what if it didn't say it's for cooking? So mekabel, then automatically I'm going to say it could be medayik that he's mekabel 10 out of 100 that it should be such barrels that are about to turn vinegar. And the second daya that says he's not makabel, he's medayik like this. It says that the lekeach doesn't have to accept what yayin kaisem daik. But I say he says he's medayik from the brayse of the Ketani. We learn mata shayayin ani meichalach. It says the brayse that if he says mata shayayin and he didn't say zeh, I'm selling you nice yayin shekulitai. He has to give him all good wine. Well, kimna we established the brayse lo yamal leila mikvah. That he beferish didn't say he wants it for cooking. So this is a beferish shahidah that in a case where he didn't say zeh, so the lekeich doesn't have to accept any barrels of wine that are about to turn vinegar. In fact, according to the one that's medayik from the Rav Zvid's brayse, that when the brayse said mativ shal yain ani meichalach, that it's yain, he has to have yain shekula yafa. All the wine has to be good. We said his dafke there is talking about dafke. He said that he wants it for mikvah, for tafshil, kasha. So we learned that if he wouldn't have said mikvah, then he has to accept 10 out of the 100 that are no good. Kasha, b'raisa. It's a kasha for the first b'raisa because there in the first b'raisa it didn't say the mikvah, and it says noisen lo yain shekula yafa. So what is going to answer that? So he says the Gemara there are missing words in the brayse. V'hachi katani. And this is how you have to learn the brayse. You have to add words after the words of matriv shal yayin ani meichalach noisen lo yayin shekulu yafa. But when were these words said that he has to give him yayin shekulu yafa the amalela mikvah? That he said with fetish that he wants it for a tafshil. But if he didn't say he wants it also for a tafshil, mikabel, he's automatically being mikabel 10 out of 100, which are 10 barrels out of 100, which are about to turn into vinegar. So if he said this seller of wine, and he didn't say it's lemikva, meaning for lemikva for cooking. If he's used the word zeh, he says this seller of wine, and he didn't say lemikva. He didn't say that he wants it for cooking. So then he could give him all the wine that's about to turn into vinegar. So it says and according to the one that is medayik from the first b'raisa, that the Beicha said mativ shayainani moichalach without using the word zeh, that he has to give him only good wine. Kasha Rav Zvid. So we have a kasha from the b'raisa that Rav Zvid said the kimna that he established that hayrav. That when did he say you have to give him only good wine? Only if he said it's for cooking. But if he didn't say it's for cooking, then he does accept 10 barrels of which are about to turn into vinegar. So the Gemara answered, the second day will answer, don't be medayik from the Baraisa of Rav Zvid to a case where he didn't say lemikva. Really, hu adin da afagav. The lo yamalei lemikva, you have to say then. The din would apply by Rav Zvid, not only if he said lemikva, even if he didn't say lemikva, lo mekabel the kohen is not accepting any barrel that's about to turn into vinegar. He wants all of it. Yayin shekula yafa. He wants the whole 100 barrels to be good wine. Why did Hafsid have to say that it's talking about that? He said he's using it for cooking purposes. Because we had two brises where it said Matav Zeshal Yayin, and they contradicted in the halacha. One brisa said Matav Zeshal Yayin. The kohen wants all good wine, and then there's and this brisa it said when he says Matav Zeshal Yayin that no, he has to accept 10 out of the 100 barrels that it should be wine that's about to turn into vinegar. So the only way to answer this same lashon and two different dinim by saying matav zeshal yainam ani meichalach, and in one brisa it says the halach is he's accepting 10 barrels, and one brisa says he's not. So we had to explain that the brisa says that he wants only good is talking about he said lemikva. He said he wants it for a tavshon. The brisa that says that he is accepting 10 barrels out of 100 that's about to turn into vinegar is talking about that he didn't say it's lemikva.